Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in, Winning Cures Everything. It is Wednesday, December the 2nd, our first show in December, at least on this channel. But we're rocking and rolling. We're good to go. A lot of traffic. Of course, that's how December works. So, we are a little bit later than usual. I probably need to fix the date on the screen here, but that's all right. Chris, how was your day? I'm assuming you're watching the game?
Yep.
So, I have had several people tweet me and said, today would be a good day to do a show because this is trash. It's kind of what it seems like. It's two not very good football teams that are playing against each other, and one of them just happens to be undefeated. So that is the way that these things go sometimes, is what it is. We're going to talk about the Big Ten, and I fully expect both Chris and myself to be a little passionate about this, and then we're going to go through our NFL Week 13 previews, picks, best bets, all that kind of stuff. So, with that said, before we get started, winningcureseverything.com is the website. All of our picks, previews, podcasts, videos, social media platforms. We are on live right now every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We do this, and we're on Twitch, we're on Periscope, we're on Facebook, and we are on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed at all those different platforms. If you would like to jump into the chat, it's right there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You go ahead and do that. Dongle Chiropractic said, "What's cracking?" We got a chiropractor in here. What is going on? I like this. Our fan base is, the education level just rose. So I'm good with that. So yeah, if you would like to jump into the chat, you can do that. Any of those platforms will populate right there on your screen, and you can be a part of the conversation. You can help drive whatever narrative you would like this show to be. Birdie said, "Good evening, men. Great start to the NCAA basketball. Gary, keep it up." Christian, we got there with Louisiana. Thanks for that one, brother. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we are rocking and rolling through the college basketball season, through the NFL season, through college football, etc. Lots of cancellations again, all that good stuff. If you want to get our college football gambling advice, information, whatever you want to call it, we are over at sportsbookreview.com. That's sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. We do a show there on Mondays, Tuesdays, and on Saturdays on the YouTube channel. That's right. Go to search SBR Picks on YouTube, and it's very, very easy to do. Ryan Kennedy said Myles Garrett is back this week, and yeah. Birdie said Chris. Damn, spell check, not Christian. Chris. He's talking about you, brother. There you go. So, are you good today? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good.
Feeling all right. All right. Ready to talk some NFL, I'd imagine. I don't want to get you too riled up, but we got to talk about this. The Big Ten just continues to so what has happened with this college football season? We all knew how the sausage was made anyway, right? I've been saying it ever since we started this show 4 years ago, that the college football playoff is a TV show. It's a sham. They want the biggest names possible because they sold this thing to ESPN, and they need the biggest ratings possible so that they can sell advertisements to the highest bidders, blah, 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 all that kind of mess, right? We've talked about this multiple times. And it is incredibly frustrating because we enjoy football, period. We enjoy the small schools, the big schools, whatever. We just like good football, and we like giving a chance to the little guys. We think that the college football playoff should be deserved and not just based on, they look like the best team, right? And that's the biggest thing here is eye test has become such a big part of this. If you read Gary Barta's comments or heard them last night, on the CFP ranking show, if you heard them on or read the transcript that is out there now, he basically said, well, Texas A&M has played a lot of games, but Ohio State just looks like the better team right now. Eventually, if Ohio State doesn't get more games in, we may have to go that direction. But through what we have seen, Ohio State looks like the better team. They've played 4 games. The only team with a pulse that they have played put up 500 passing yards on them, and that was Indiana. And now you're not going to get to see what Indiana is for the rest of the season with Michael Penix because he's out. So they're not going to hold that against Ohio State. They're just going to assume that Indiana would have beaten everybody else on the schedule. So here is what Barry Alvarez said today about the Big Ten possibly having to reconsider its requirements for championships with OSU in mind from a conversation with the Detroit News. He said on if they need to take a look at changing the requirements for the Big Ten title game, he said, I would think that if something would happen to Ohio State and they'd have to cancel another game, that's something that we've got to revisit. They're sitting up there, still ranked number 4. Our league can't keep them from having the opportunity if they have a chance to be in the finals. So then he was asked, is that an AD-level decision? He said, yeah, we meet weekly. Those are things we discuss. We may make some adjustments on that last week. That's sort of a flexible week of scheduling, but those are things we talk about, and certainly you've got to consider or reconsider. What the hell are we even doing? The ACC just did this, right? We talked about this on the SBR show yesterday because it was a big news flash. The ACC came out and said, all right, we're doing 10-game schedules, and you can do one non-conference game. So everybody's going to get 11 games. If you can't quite get 11, that's fine, but we want to make sure we have a full schedule. And then they come out this week because Clemson decided they don't want to go back to Tallahassee because they are the big dogs in the conference. They said, we're not going back down there. Rather than trying to schedule something else for them, they just said, you know what? Rather than take the risk of an injury or one of you guys shit in the bed, we're just going to say you don't have to play next weekend, and that way we've got Notre Dame and Clemson in the ACC championship game, and we are guaranteed a playoff spot, and we don't have to worry about it. I am so tired of this because what this is the leaders coming up with rules to start things off until the rules don't fit their narrative or what they want to happen. So when something goes sideways and their big dogs can't get in using the rules that they have created, I would just screw the rules. I am so irritated about this. Chris, I know you're irritated as well. I'm going to let you have the floor, but it's so frustrating to see this from supposed leaders of conferences. But we all know what it is. It's a sham. It's a TV show. They want ratings. That's Ohio State they're getting in the playoff one way or another.
We got to stop hiding behind ratings. We have to. Let me tell you who the ratings king is, okay? Let me explain how ratings works. There's an industry out there that's ran pretty ineptly, by the way. Like they're not a well-ran organization called the NFL. They're playing right now on Wednesday afternoon, all right? Because they can't get their shit together either. But let me explain how ratings work for them. Okay, they would play a Sunday afternoon game on a rando Sunday in October at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, between the Cowboys and the Packers, and it will outrate the SEC championship game. It will outrate any playoff game we have. It will outrate the national championship game, and it's just a rando game on a Sunday, okay? So you want to sell your soul to the ratings? How is it that this lowly, small-town, upstart team from middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, can bring that kind of a number? How is that possible? It's because the NFL said, we think that competition and parity are the most important thing. We think fairness is the most important thing. Would we love every game to be New York and Dallas? Absolutely. That would be the dream of all dreams. But we understand that we can't make certain things happen. And by allowing every team equal opportunity to rise and fall over the decades, they built a monster fan base for this small town, little bitty dinky market football team. Okay? That's how you build ratings. But the college football has said, no. See, we've got these 6 big horses that run college football, and we have to have our championship and we have to have our playoffs run around them. And if one of them aren't in it, holy shit, everything is on fire. And we have to have the championship game be 2 of them. We can have at least 3 of them in and let another guy get in every now and then if they've earned the right to be there. But man, we got to do everything in our power to keep these 6 or 7 big boy teams afloat because they're the only ones that pull eyeballs. What if you start letting the chips fall where they may? Don't manipulate rules. Don't manufacture wins for teams. Don't benefit the big boys that already have all the other benefits in the world. They already get the best coaches. They already have the best players. Because we don't have some type of draft system. They already have the best facilities. They already have the most fans. Have you ever thought that if you put these other teams on national TV more often and you don't bury them on the U, that they will then in time get more fans? They will then in time get bigger? Have you ever thought of that? And then you no longer have to sell your soul to anybody, and you can just say, we're going to let the chips fall where they may, and any team that gets in, we're going to have great ratings. You know why? Because we've built up all of these programs instead of selling our soul to these few.
Yeah.
But no. We sell our soul to these few, and it drives me insane. It infuriates me. And I fully believe, listen, this is the first year that these players realize, for the first time in the history of college sports, we have more power than these administrations. We have more power than these administrations. The little guys are learning there's a lot of us and they need us. I'm telling you, that's going to transition up at some point in time. If you're the other 13 teams in the SEC and you're tired of that Alabama cocking your ass, at some point in time, you're going to realize, I don't need that. I don't need that. We'll walk away. We'll start our own thing. You, Clemson, Ohio State, good luck playing each other. Oh, yeah, nobody will play Liberty. You can play those bastards. All right, now see how you like it. You can't take too much. Every partnership has to have some type of equalness to it. You can't just say, I'm the king and I must be treated as the king and I must be treated separately, because at some point in time, the subjects get tired of being the subjects.
Yeah. I could not have put that any better myself. LA Lakers 2020 champion said, yo, what it is, guys. Let's see who else jumped in there. Oh, the Brown Yeti. It's been a little while since we saw the Yeti in here. Casey said, just expand to 8 teams. I don't understand why they don't want 8 teams. It's more games, more money, and there is definitely 8 teams every year worthy of the playoff stage. See, all right, so I don't know that there's 8 teams worthy. I think that there are 8 teams
We got to stop
deserving.
the worthiness, Gary.
I know. That's what I'm
fucking stop it.
I understand that. What I'm saying is there are 8 teams that are deserving of being on that platform. Now, we all know every year it's basically 2 teams that are ahead of the rest of the pack. And it's a different combination, right? Last year, it was LSU and Ohio State and Clemson. It was 3 of them last year. In some cases, it's just been Alabama and Clemson. In one year, it was, it's never Oklahoma, but Oklahoma deserves to be in there because they win their conference every year and they dominate during the regular season. It's the same thing with the group of 5 teams. No, I don't think that Cincinnati would beat most of these top 4 teams. I don't. But they deserve the opportunity. That's where I'm at with it. Like, I have become a proponent of a 16-team playoff because that way you get all of the automatic qualifiers in and you bring in everybody else. If the top 4 teams are the top 4 teams, well, then they can prove it and they can go win. Like, that's my deal. But this whole thing this season, I understand why these conferences are doing everything in their power to get their guys in the playoff, because the playoff payout is more money. They want more money because they have all taken a bath this year because they didn't have the wherewithal to look ahead. They didn't have they want their nonprofit, right? They want their tax exemption. They want all that. I'm so irritated that it's just out in the open. Like, I'm glad it's out in the open, but to come out and say this is unbelievable. Like, for the love of God, when you make a rule, just stick to it. Like, the playoff,
they're not even hiding it anymore. The
playoff has said. I mean, look, the playoff every year, the justifications that they make every season just fits whatever they want the narrative to be. If they want Alabama to be in as a non-champion, well, then they just switch it up to the eye test. And it's the same thing when Ohio State was a non-champion and Penn State was a 2-loss team. Well, we can't have a team that got blown out by Michigan, in the second game of the year.
Well, I don't know, but that year they didn't want UCF in. They wouldn't let UCF join in. They were undefeated, and they passed the eye test. Then they said, but look at your strength of schedule.
Oh,
but
yeah,
nobody wanted to look at Clemson's. Nobody wanted to look at Clemson's strength of schedule.
Yeah, it's all justification.
Like, no, yeah. So we want to make this argument right here because it defends this team. And then we want to change the argument to change this team. And then we want to, because this year they're going to say the same thing. They're going to look at BYU and say, well, look who you've played. And then they're going to say, well, look at Ohio State. Well, who the hell have they played? They played 3 nobodies, 3 sped teams, okay?
The only thing that would surprise me this season would be if we do not have Alabama, Ohio State, and Notre Dame in this playoff. That's the only thing that would surprise me. Now, Clemson,
I think if Notre Dame loses by 3 touchdowns, let's say, which I don't think is going to happen, if Notre Dame gets beat up pretty good, there's a world where they get kicked out of this thing.
I don't think so. I don't think that they put in Texas A&M over Notre Dame.
No, you're probably right.
Because at that point, Alabama would – so here's the way that it would work. If Florida beats Alabama, obviously Florida's in, but then they'll keep Alabama in as well. Like –
but that's the world where Notre Dame gets left out.
Yeah, that's the world where Notre Dame gets left out, but that's because Florida jumps in. So
if Clemson loses again, somebody said, "What if Clemson loses again? They're out.
Yeah,
they don't get to play as a 2-loss team. Notre Dame's probably 1 or 2. Alabama's 1 or 2 if they win the SEC. If they lose the SEC, then now if Clemson does lose, then I do think we're getting a 1-loss A&M team in. No question.
Yeah, if Clemson loses. That moves Ohio State up to 3. Yeah, probably going to get A&M. So long as they go undefeated the rest of the way. And I fully expect them to. I mean, it's not like they got a tough schedule to close out. But that's the thing, right, is we are having this conversation, and the fact that Ohio State could play 4 or 5 games, and that's it. And so far, they are ranked number 4 with only 4 games played, and the only one of which was against a team with a pulse. And they only won by 7, and their defense looked atrocious. Their quarterback threw 3 interceptions in this game.
Yep. Oh, but wait a minute. I thought we were going to use the eye test.
But apparently.
Oh, no, hang on. What about strength of schedule? How are we going to use that? Let's use the strength of schedule. Oh, we're not using that either?
No,
what qualifications are we using for Ohio State?
Phil Steele's preview magazine. That's got to be it. That's the only thing that you can say. Like that.
How do these sons of bitches sleep at night? That's all I want to know.
In their very expensive mansions with their very expensive beds on their very expensive pillows.
I hope they die. I really do. The world's a better place without them. It really is. I know their families will be sad. Tough shit. People die every day. They make the world a worse place. They just do.
Yes. I'm with you. I wouldn't go so far as to say I hope they die.
I know, because you and I think differently, and I see this world as just a meaningless place sometimes anyway, and death is just the next great adventure. So
I'm so irritated with it. It drives me insane because you would like to think there's a little bit of integrity,
but there's not.
That there are at least some ethics.
Before now, they all were doing the same things they're doing right now. The problem is COVID, this weird ass 2020 year, and the weird scheduling. It's all exposing them for who they are. And if we won't stand up and cry out and shout them down and fight them now, when the hell will we? Because they've been doing the same shit over and over and over again. And all they do is let the outcome justify what they've done. Oh, well, look how good LSU was. Look how good Alabama was. Look how good Clemson was. Look how good Ohio State shouldn't have got in that one playoff, but they got in and then they won it. So, well, we deserve to be there. See, that's the end doesn't justify the mean.
Agreed. Like I don't understand having contracts for bowl games. I don't understand all these different things, right? Because there's a chance that Liberty could go 9-2, 10-1, so I would fully expect that they get beat this weekend. But that team could go 10-1 this year and not be able to go to a bowl game because the NCAA knocked out all the qualifications for the bowl games. Have you seen the bowl predictions at all? Like,
no,
because
I don't look at any of that shit.
So
I hate it.
I know, but Brett McMurphy is in the know. He talks to all these guys. He talks to these different bowl games and the scouts for them and who they are working with to bring to their bowl games. LSU is in talks to go to a bowl game, and Liberty wouldn't be able to get in. Like, what world are we in right now? Tennessee. They're talking about Tennessee for the Music City Bowl. Tennessee may have 2 wins this year. Like, what are we doing? But it's because they're part of the SEC, and there's no qualifications for bowl games. So, and that's not to say that Tennessee is going to even accept, because they may just be ready to be done with the season. But, like, these teams that deserve a little more notoriety, a little more spotlight on them, they don't get it. Like, it's part of what I enjoy about College Game Day, right? I love that Felica and that bunch, they at least have the stones to go to a place like Coastal Carolina and Liberty, right? Like, they may not showcase the game, like on ESPN. They might not put it at the right time slot or on the right channel because they need their ratings.
But Felica and them don't have any say in that.
They got no say in that, but they can decide what game is the biggest in the weekend, and they can go where they want to go and spotlight a team that's on the rise. They can help give a little more spotlight to those teams, and I love that. However, they're going to a game, and Thomas Lee jumps in. Yeah, it's all about money, and that's the problem. That is the issue here. Kirk Herbstreit went on a diatribe on a Michigan radio station this morning, and obviously he apologized for his statements about Michigan, trying to wave the white flag and duck the Ohio State game because they don't want to get beat by 100 and all that. He said that on the air last night. I could not believe he said it. And then he walked it back and whatever. I get it. But it doesn't make it any less true. There are teams that are absolutely quitting on the season, and they don't want to get embarrassed. And that it is what it is. But when you give players and teams the option to do that, who in their right mind would have thought they wouldn't use it? Like, my gosh. So, but he went on his diatribe, and he said, look, I'm more just upset about the state of college football. He said, we've got players that don't look at this as an opportunity. They look at this as, we're not going to win anymore, so, like, might as well go on and get ready for the NFL. They're not looking at this as a 20, 30, 40-year long-term investment. They're not looking at taking the lessons from being on a team, regardless of what the adversity is.
I want to stop right there. Two things. One, I love Kirk. I love Kirk. He's one of the best things about the sport. He's also part of the problem as well.
Yes.
Okay. Because he sees the big name teams and he puffs them up and he dismisses the little guys just as much as anybody else does. Okay. But the problem is the teams that aren't quitting, the players that aren't quitting and opting out, BYU's players, Coastal's players, Liberty's players, the Sun Belt kids, all these kids. They're not quitting on their teams. No. They're still fighting. UCF has nothing to fight for. That team is still fighting like hell to score points every week, every time the game is snapped. Cincinnati knows that they have nothing to play for because these sons of bitches won't let them in. No matter what they do, no matter how good they are, they won't allow them at the table. But they're still fighting like hell, and they're not quitting. These guys have nothing to play for, and they're still not quitting. You know who does quit? All those big boys, all those blue bloods, your Penn States, your LSUs, all those big guys that as soon as they realize, it's not what we thought it was going to be, so let's walk away. Those guys don't have any clue on how to face adversity. And you know why? Because they've been given every advantage that they've ever had in this sport. Maybe not in life. Most of these kids come from real tough backgrounds. But when it comes to football, they've always been the best player on the best team, and they've never lost. And they don't understand what that's like. And it's shame on college football, shame on the entire system. This is what we're talking about, for always giving them the advantage, for always giving them the best of everything and puffing them up. This is the problem. Leave Ohio State out and let USC get in one time. Let them get their shit kicked in. That's fine. It's okay to go up there and show up and get beat. That's all right. Notre Dame did it. Notre Dame's done it a bunch of times. They've played teams way better than them several times, and they got the hell beat. They got embarrassed. You know what? They're still showing up. And guess what? After 4 or 5 years, 6 or 7 years of getting embarrassed by those teams, they now are kind of equal with those teams.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that. We let them in, and we beat the shit out of them. And everyone says, well, they didn't belong to begin with. Yes, they did belong. They just weren't as good as the other team. But after getting there so many times, they learn what they need to do different to compete with these teams and to get better. Let UCF in. And if they ever deserve to be there, let them in again. And then maybe the 4th or 5th time that they've gotten in, maybe they're a different kind of team. Maybe they've learned something, and the nation has seen them. Same thing with Cincinnati. If Cincinnati deserves to be in, let their ass in. Let them fight.
Yes, give them the opportunity to do so. Like Birdie said, stop watering down Division I football. Create a 20-team true Division I league. Let them recruit on an even playing field, and all the best kids are then on those 20
Recruiting
teams.
is really what's killing college football. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm not of the opinion that kids should, because they are going to get an education, regardless of how I kind of roll my eyes at that. I do think education's important. My education wasn't important.
Oh,
I can't make my life experience what everybody else's is. What?
We have a little bit of breaking news. It's not breaking as of yet. So Liberty's still on a path to play the game Saturday, right?
Okay.
However, BYU and Coastal are in talks and have explored the possibility of playing Saturday if Liberty cannot play because of COVID-related issues.
That's so amazing.
So that could be cool. They need to find out if Liberty's going to be able to play because they do have COVID-19 issues right now.
At both the places I bet online right now, I can't find the Liberty Coastal game.
No,
it's taken off the board.
Yeah, it's been taken off the board. So that could be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun. But that's the thing, right? BYU's players haven't quit. But not only that, App State has nothing else to play for. They don't have.
And they're still going to show up, and they're going to bring the wood Saturday.
They didn't have anything to play for last Saturday.
Yeah.
And they still came out and whipped Troy's ass. Like, they wanted to play. And Troy, who has had nothing to play for weeks on end, they are still showing up. They are still doing their thing. There are so many of these teams that still give a damn, that want to go out and compete. And that's the biggest thing. So there's some, obviously, that aren't. But there are still some that are, and I love those teams for doing it. Because that football is so much more important than just championships. Like, college football has always been more than just championships. That doesn't mean that I don't think that they should have a better system for it. I think that it means football is life. That's how this thing works. And for it to be just whittled down into this little thing that it is now, where everybody just pays attention to the playoff, that's an issue. Like, if you're going to have it where everybody only talks about being able to get to the playoff, then you need a bigger playoff. You need.
I've been screaming this for years.
Yeah, I know.
I've been saying it for years and years and years, that just because you can't win the championship doesn't mean you don't belong in the tournament. Every year, Butler is going to hang banners for making it to a Sweet 16 or making it to an Elite Eight or Final Four. Like, LSU made it to a Sweet 16. They made it to one Final Four in my lifetime, and they hung a banner for it, and it was an amazing season, and it was a great ride. Oh, but they didn't win the championship, so it didn't matter. No, it mattered.
Yes.
Why is it that one team out of 130 can win a title? You mean everybody else don't matter?
Oregon last year, so there were a lot of fans that were debating before they ended up getting beat by Arizona State. They were debating, would it be better for us to not make the playoff and just go to the Rose Bowl where we know that we've got a really good chance of winning, or do we want to go get our teeth kicked in by LSU? Like, which would be better? And it's always going to be go play LSU. Like, go to the biggest stage possible because it helps your program long term, and the players want that opportunity. They want to compete, and it doesn't matter who you're playing against. Like, Oregon didn't get to play for a national championship last year because they lost to Arizona State. That's perfectly fine. They still went out and competed against Wisconsin. Like, it drives me insane thinking about this stuff. Thomas jumps in. He said, you guys are the only ones talking about this. Respect. Hey, we just call it like we see it.
Share it out. Tell everybody else that you know to come listen to it, because I don't know what else to do. I don't hear anybody else saying it. And I say some pretty harsh shit, okay? I don't know any of these people, so it's a pretty huge dick move to say I wish they would all die. I just think the world's a better place without assholes. I just do. I think these guys are the biggest assholes in the world.
So a lot of times that I will talk about the reality of the situation. I'll talk about who is likely going to get into the playoff. That is based on the circumstances and what we know the playoff to be. Like, we're talking about Herb Street puffing up teams and whatnot, not ranking G5 teams and all that. A lot of that is because the playoff committee has done this year after year after year. So you're trying. Even if you're not meaning to, in the back of your head, you're trying to match what they are going to do, right? You're trying to predict. Even when you should be just giving out your opinion on the best teams, you're still trying to predict who is actually going to be able to make it and who's not. And that's where you and I sometimes get crossways with this, because sometimes I am just trying to predict what they're going to do. Even if I don't believe it's the right thing to do, I still find myself trying to predict what they will end up doing. And
I don't care. I'm not in the prediction business. I'm gonna make games. I'm gonna pick games, but I'm not in the prediction business. I'm gonna tell you what I think. I'm gonna tell you what's right, and I'm gonna tell you what's wrong.
Yeah.
That's it. I can only tell you what I truly believe and what I truly feel. And my problem is the danger of doing what you're doing is I learned this definition thanks to some friends that are a lot smarter than us. That's the definition of gaslighting. Yes. You're saying what everybody else is saying, and now everybody is hearing it from all these different sources, and so now they believe it. And I refuse to be a part of it. I just refuse to be a part of it.
Hey, it's politics, right?
But I'm not doing that. I'm not
playing
that game.
I know. But that's what I'm saying is.
And that's why I'll never be taken seriously, because I say off-the-wall shit and I cuss too much. That's fine. I understand that. But I'm going to always at least tell you what I really feel. And this stuff bothers me. I find it morally reprehensible. I really do. I'm not a moralist. I'm not. I don't judge people for anything that they do. But this is a sport in which the labor that's out there actually taking all of the risk right now are not paid, and these other entities are trying to screw certain kids. If you're Wake Forest this week, you're pretty upset that you don't get your shot at Notre Dame when it was on the schedule. Do you think Wake Forest, when they saw the schedule this year, circled that game at the end of the year?
Oh, so they were supposed to play earlier in the year, and Notre Dame had COVID issues.
Yeah, whatever.
But that's what I'm saying.
Game.
Yeah.
That was a big deal for Wake Forest. Now Wake Forest is going to get screwed. All those kids that worked all hard all year, Dave Clawson has a shot at maybe a lottery ticket in his hand. You go into that game and you upset Notre Dame. Now you can step up to, you either make Wake Forest pay your ass, or you can go take $4 or $5 million from somebody else. Okay. Yeah. But that's a lottery ticket he's holding right now. And now the ACC just took that ticket and tore it up. They threw it away. You don't get that opportunity. Sorry, Dave. Sorry, kids at Wake. You don't get that chance. All those kids at Florida State.
Because you guys are not worth
decision to not play Clemson. It wasn't the kids' decision. These were adults. These were administrators that had a say in it. The kids didn't have a chance. How many kids at Florida State just grew up hating Clemson the last several years? Just hating their ass, getting just destroyed by them. They want their shot at the king. Everybody wants their shot at the king.
Yep, but those players in those programs are not worth as much to the ACC as Clemson and Notre Dame this year. That's what it is. That's it.
But we get upset when they cancel, when they opt out. And they don't want to go play for, how selfish of them to not go play for the bowl game. How selfish of them to opt out and quit on their team. We call them quitters.
Oh,
how dare we? How fucking dare we?
Yeah. I'm with you.
We used the shit out of these kids. And then we got the balls to call them quitters. Oh, that's some grade A piece of shit right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right about that. Casey said, I take you seriously, Chris. I would rather watch a real show than a scripted one anyway. Thomas Lee said, my litmus test was 2014. TCU got jobbed. Even though Ohio State won it, TCU deserved to be there. The difference, Ohio State is the cash cow. Yes. Casey said, that
TCU team was awesome too. And that was a complete team with no stars.
Oh, yeah. No,
just a complete, well-rounded, great offense, great defense. The best team I've ever seen Gary Patterson have. Love that man.
Oh, yeah. Birdie said, let's see, change can happen from the voice of a single man. Never underestimate the true power of an opinion. True leaders have the courage to speak their truth. Much respect, Chris. Never apologize for an opinion. Yeah, that's no apologies here. Like we're going to tell you exactly what we're thinking. But, yeah, I knew we were going to get fired up about that. Michigan, by the way, the game against Maryland canceled today. Yeah. SMU Houston is canceled. That Michigan situation, they are not even allowed back to their facility until Monday, and they are supposed to play Ohio State next Saturday. So Ohio State's doing everything they can to get their game in this week. I mean, we'll see. Tyrone said, what changes in the Big Ten? Oh, he just stopped in. Tyrone, the Big Ten is looking at changing their rules for who can get into the Big Ten title game based on the fact that Ohio State may not have enough games. So, it is what it is. Another example of these conferences doing whatever they can to help the bigger schools. Let's talk about the NFL Week 13 previews. I know we have the Steelers game and the Ravens going on right now. But it's already time to look ahead to next week. I know the NFL has pushed some games around and all that kind of stuff, but it ain't changing our schedule. We got our schedule set in stone. They got to get back right with us. So let's talk about our previews for this week. We're going to give out spread picks on each one of these games, and we'll start it right now. NFL Week 13 previews. Let's start off Lions and Bears. Division game, two not very good football teams. Matt Patricia no longer the head coach. There is no GM in Detroit now. Rumors abound that Harbaugh looks like he might be the next Lions coach. That would be comical to me a little bit. But, hey, I mean, you never know. We'll see. The Bears have a pretty easy run of it at the end of the season here. Do they start off with a win? Are the Lions just done now that their coach is gone? Or is this another situation where, team fires their coach, team shows up fired up that week, they play over their heads, and the Lions find a way to get a win on the road?
Well, so far, we're 2 for 2 on teams that fired their coaches winning the next week.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
I really, really, really wanted to take the Lions this week because of that. I like this Bears defense. I do. If they can put together any semblance of an offense, I like this Bears defense a lot.
Did you
They're
see
just
the picture?
Getting crushed by a bad offense.
Did you see the picture of Mitch Trubisky, like, trying to talk to the team, and there's a guy in the background that is just looking at him all goofy? Did you see that?
No, but I got to look that up.
He was looking at him just like, come on, man.
Why are you talking to us?
Why are you talking to us?
No, can we get Roquan? Can we get Khalil? Like, can we get a real leader up here? So here's the problem with the Bears. This is the offensive problem that I have with them. Kirk Cousins is not a good quarterback, okay? But the run game is so good that you have to worry about it so much that even when they're not running the ball well, Kirk can do a lot of dangerous things, all right? Alex Smith, not a great quarterback, having a rough year. But they're running the football so well that it means it opens everything else up. There's a lot of teams, Baker Mayfield, not a good quarterback, but they run the ball so well, it opens it up. Chicago can't run the football, and they have a moron that's completely talentless at quarterback.
And on top of that, you've got
that makes
Nagy.
For a bad combination, by the way.
Oh, it's a terrible combination. But on top of it, you've also got a head coach who the players have openly said doesn't know what's going on the field.
They don't trust him. This is not a good combination. Now, the fact that they can keep these games close and stay fighting in them says a lot. It says a lot about the quality of the talent around this inept quarterback and these, the struggle on offense, the leadership on that defense. I can't pick this game. Oh my God. If you put a gun in my head and said, make a choice, give me the Lions. That's where I'm going. So far it's 2 for 2 on teams fire their coach. And the next week they show up just red-assed and ready to play. And I don't know. I just think this Bears team offensively, if they had a great run game, I would trust them so much more.
If they had any semblance of a run game.
Oh, right. That's it. Yes. Any run game at all. That's right. I would trust them so much more. The fact that they can't run the ball, and I'm putting my entire faith in either Mitch Trubisky or Foles, I just can't do it.
Casey jumps in. The Bears are going undefeated the rest of the year. Book it. Casey.
Well, it's pretty easy going, and I think that last game they have they played the Packers twice?
No. Yes, they have. Yes. No, they have.
I think they got one good team left.
Let's see. I'm looking it up as we speak. Let's see. They have got the Packers on January the 3rd. So, yes, they've only played them once.
They played the Packers twice.
But here's
so
what they got.
Running the table.
They got the Lions this week. They got the Texans. They got the Vikings, the Jaguars, and the Bears. So all of their
they can't play themselves.
The Packers. Sorry, the Packers.
Okay. All right. That Vikings game's going to be tough. That Packers game's going to be tough. Without Will Fuller for the rest of the year now, that Texans team is just trash.
Yep.
We'll get to them in my gambling picks.
Yeah, I'm rolling Lions here. I'm rolling Lions. Moving on, Colts -3.5 at the Texans. So this is all the noon slate on Sunday, by the way. There is no Thursday night football this week because the Ravens, of course, are playing tonight, and then they will play again next Tuesday against the Cowboys. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Colts minus 3.5. What am I missing? I think the Colts are a substantially better team than the Texans, and I know that the Texans have looked okay as of late. But Will Fuller got popped for PEDs. Roby got popped for PEDs. I think that might be two of their four best players on the team.
Well, Will is their second best player outside of Watson.
So only 3.5. Like, give me the Colts all day here. This
well, you can find 3.
Oh, can you?
Hell yeah. I had them earlier.
I saw at Bet Online or something like that, but most of them
Bovada's got 3. Bookmakers got 3. Bet Online's got 3.
Oh, then that thing's moved down a little bit.
Now everybody else has 3.5.
Yeah, K Storm said Colts with the points. Birdie said no Fuller, no Cobb, no Stills, no Johnson. How is this Houston team going to score?
I don't know.
Look, I trust Deshaun Watson to be able to find ways to get it done, but man,
I don't. Not against this Colts defense. No. He's not magic. Okay, he can't just wiggle his nose and make stuff happen.
Yeah, I'm all over the Colts. I like the Colts. I like the Colts a lot. So,
me too.
Moving on from there, let's talk about another division game between a team that showed a little bit of life here lately, and that would be the Falcons at home +3 against the Saints. Saints with Taysom. Last week was just it tossed that game out. Like, I mean, what are we even doing? I feel Saints here. Like, I know you can get a 2.5 for the Saints.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go. Like, I understand the Falcons just blew the doors off the Raiders last week. I get it. But I still think the Saints are just a significantly better football team. Like, you kind of feel the same way here?
Yeah, from top to bottom, they are the better team. I think the only reason this line is as small as it is because we saw the Falcons drop 40 and beating the hell out of the Raiders last week. And
the Falcons always, even when the Falcons are terrible, they always seem to find a way to beat really good New Orleans teams. But, I mean, it's happened multiple years in a row now. So, this is why I'm so conflicted on it, right?
I'm not conflicted at all. I like the Saints. I think what the Falcons have done the last couple of weeks is just fraudulent. I mean, that's I like betting against teams that play way above their head the week before.
And so Casey jumps in. He said the Falcons game or the Saints game is a trap game for sure. Look, it's not like the Saints have anything to look forward to. They get the Eagles next week. Like the Eagles game, I could see being a trap game because they got the Chiefs coming into town the week after that. But, like, what are you looking forward to here?
With Taysom Hill as your quarterback, no game's a trap game. They're not overlooking anybody, and they're not looking forward to anything.
And they ain't overlooking the Falcons at all.
No, they're not overlooking the Falcons at all. They hate these. This is one of the most underrated rivalries in the NFL.
Oh, they hate each other.
They really do hate each other, and nationally, we don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Steelers, Ravens. It's not
Packers,
Patriots,
Bears,
Jets, or anything like that, or whatever. It's Packers, Bears. It's not any of that. It's just a really hated rivalry, though.
Let's see. Embarrassing loss by the Falcons from K-Storm, but he said their Super Bowl game against the Saints, it never fails. And then Casey jumps in, Falcons money line, just saying. Hey, and maybe so, but I can't in any good faith put my money behind the Falcons. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I refuse.
Not against the Saints. I mean, that just
I'm okay with losing, but I'm gonna go down betting against a team that I just don't trust.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, moving on. Browns at the Titans. This one opened at 3 in favor of the Titans. It is now at 6, and I think that's right. I think we're going to keep moving up, and I think that's the right direction. I think this Titans team does exactly what the Browns do, only better. They got a better quarterback. I think they've got a better defense. I know we get Myles Garrett back this week. I do think the Titans are going to win this game by a touchdown. They play to the level of the competition, and I think they're going to show up this week in a big, big way. I would imagine you're probably going to take your Brownies.
Yeah, but your logic is wrong here. Okay. It's not they do the same things. How do you beat the Browns?
You stop the run.
What was the Titans known for, and what have they been known for all year?
I have no idea which direction you're going.
Being terrible against the run, Gary. What about the first 7-8 games where they just embarrassing loss? Just teams just run it right down their throat.
Okay.
You can't stop this team if you can't stop the run. The Browns can be beaten very easily, very easily. You have to stop the run. The Titans don't have the personnel to do that. By saying the Titans have a better defense, that's just wrong. They don't. Now, the Browns have, the Titans have way better offense because of the quarterback situation than the Titans do. All right. But I'm going to tell you, you take the Browns, you take the points. I think the Titans can win. I think the Titans win in a field goal. I think this is a very close, very tight back and forth game.
Yeah. That's I'm looking at it. Cleveland, number 11 against the run. Tennessee, number 16 against the run. They give up 4.3 yards per rush. So, in their last, I will say this, in their last three, they're giving up 3.8.
Ryan Jones says two things here. One, he asked, who's better quarterback, Carson Wentz, Mitchell Trubisky? I'm not answering that question. That's a trap. I'm not doing that.
That's a trap.
You're going to make me say something positive about one of those two guys? I refuse. I just opt out. Who's my favorite team? I grew up a Patriots fan. And I've loved the city of Boston. I'm wearing my Boston hoodie now. It's just a general city of Boston hoodie. Greatest city in the world, just in case anybody was wondering. And so that came along with all of those franchises and teams. I married into the Cleveland thing. So for about 17, 18 years, I haven't been married that long, but I've been going up there that long. I have embraced the Browns and I have embraced the Indians. I refuse to embrace the Cavs because I am a Celtics guy and I'm a Grizz guy and I already have my two teams there. So
there you go. There you go. Casey, Browns and Bears money line picks of the week. Or money
somebody
line
said
locks
I
of the
think
week.
the Steelers are. No. That's just somebody trying to stir some shit up.
That's exactly what that is. I can get down with that. All right, moving on. We've got the Giants at the Seahawks. This is an afternoon game. The rest of these are afternoon. This is a big game, I guess, because it's
Chase McSorley just threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, I see that. I see. We have Trace in here.
I'm back to covering. I covered the entire game. That last touchdown screwed it for me. I'm back to covering.
Oh, did you take the Ravens plus 10?
Oh, hell yeah, 10.5.
That's I've still got
Yes.
my Steelers minus 4 ticket from last week.
Yeah, about to bust it. Sorry, I digress. Let's go.
So with that, Giants and Seahawks. The only reason we're discussing this is because the Giants are leading the NFC East. They are.
This is two first place teams. This is two first place teams. It was a weird week trying to come up with big games, right?
Yeah, it's it's so weird. So with that said, Seahawks 10-point favorite here. I would imagine, like, Seattle plays down to the level of competition so much. It drives me insane. They should cover this. But I have seen the Giants come back and cover in games that they have no business covering. I don't imagine that they win. I could totally see the Giants covering 10, but I don't know.
All right. So
yeah, give me something to work with here.
we have to stop looking at the Seahawks from the first half of the season because that defense was atrocious. That defense was a bottom 10 defense in a season where nobody was playing a lot of defense. All right. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, but that offense at that point
they made
was
a couple of acquisitions. Hang on. They made a couple of acquisitions. And now that defense is a lot better than they were when the season first started. Last 2-3 weeks, we have seen a very, very different Seahawks defensive team.
Man,
okay?
Yeah, but they beat up on the Eagles last week.
What do you think they're going to get with the Giants?
Agreed.
They'll get a shit-ass team.
Yeah, they still gave up 17 points. They only won by 6. Like, I understand it was a fluky whatever thing.
First off, there was a touchdown drive that was a 30-something yard penalty that should have been a penalty that didn't get called, by the way. What's it called? Intentional grounding call, where they were like, he got the ball past the line of scrimmage, and then on replay, no, he was like 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That was a 30-something yard penalty that they took off the board. There's no way the Eagles get that first down. They punt. Instead, they scored on that drive, by the way. So,
okay, that's a valid point. That's a valid point.
So anyway, you take that off, and then a miracle touchdown to push the number. Come on, man.
So in this spot, so Daniel Jones he's out for this game.
Yes, Daniel Jones isn't playing.
But does that make any difference? Like, how much of a difference does he make?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback, but he's a lot better than what they got behind him.
I don't even know who the backup is.
I should know this. That's kind of an insult. Hang on.
I'd say, hey, it's all good. Ryan said, Casey said, isn't Danny Dimes out? Ryan asked if they pulled RG3 out of the game, and yes, they did. He said, everyone's on the Falcons, and it pisses me off.
Colt McCoy came in backup relief.
Well, I mean, Colt's got experience. He's played, so,
Okay.
There we go. And, yeah, thank me for my service. Jumped in with that.
Colt McCoy hasn't played in like 6 years.
He had didn't he break his leg last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that. That's shocking to me. I just remember he took over for RG3 in 2012. Okay. Or 2013.
Yeah.
That was 8 years ago or 7 years ago.
That's so ridiculous. That is so freaking ridiculous. All right. Let's move on. Seahawks -10. I think we're both rolling that way.
I like to see chickens.
Yep, the Sea Chickens. It is Rams at the Cardinals division game. Cardinals a 3-point underdog at home. And now they got to share a stadium. So, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. The Cardinals always seem to find a way to win like this kind of a game, right? Help me out here. I feel. I want to bet the Cardinals so bad.
I can't help you here. I don't know what to do. So the only reason I would touch this game is I would take the Rams if we find out, or if we get any more kind of inkling that there's something wrong with Murray, because 2 weeks ago he went down and it looked like he got hurt in that Patriots game. And he tried to come back and he tried to keep fighting, and then he looked like shit last week, and it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, did he really get hurt, and is he playing through an injury? If he's hurt against this front four of the Rams, man,
that's a problem.
I do not like the Cardinals at all. If he's fine, then I'm fine, and I'll take the Cardinals. I'll take the points.
That's I'm going to roll that way. I'm going to take the Cardinals.
Murray is the most important factor here.
Oh, okay? Yes, 100%.
I mean, if he is really hurt, he's going to struggle and he's going to be bad. If he's trying to play through an injury, that ain't good. I mean, that's just as bad as putting somebody who's garbage back there.
You taking the Rams?
I'm gonna. Oh yes. Right now we got to make our pick now. Yeah, for our pick thing. Yes, but it's a reason it's not a gambling pick of mine. Is because I really like it one way or I really like it the other, all depending on this one person.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it is.
If he's playing and he's healthy, I like the Cardinals a lot. If he's not healthy, I like the Rams a lot.
Akbar Saloev jumped in. Hopefully I said that right. He said, I think you guys missed my comment earlier, but you guys are the best. Hey, we appreciate that, Akbar. And then Ryan asked how my college basketball picks are going today. None of them has started. I've got 4 games.
I think he was asking for the college basketball picks, right?
No, he said how those college basketball picks going today. Yeah, my first game is Quinnipiac and Drexel. That's at 6:30. Then I got 2 at 7, 1 at 8. So I'm good for a little while. I don't have any money on the early games. Let's see. Colt experience playing on a bad team. He should be just fine. Cardinals money line from Casey. I'm taking the Rams if Jalen Ramsey plays from Ryan. Bears will knock out either the Rams or the Cardinals from the 7th seed. I think the Cardinals win and the Rams fade down the stretch. That was from Casey. And then Case Storm said, no, sir, Casey.
I don't think the Bears are making the playoffs.
I don't think so either. Hey, I wrote down Eagles at Packers. Do we want to talk about this one?
I don't have an opinion outside of the fact that one team's really good and the other team's really bad.
I was looking at it more from the 8.5.
That extra 1.5 doesn't scare me.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think the Packers win this by 2 touchdowns. So
Packers can't stop teams that run the football. And Miles Sanders is really good running back.
Yeah, but their offensive line is still beat up.
Yeah, but just telling you, they've been ran on by bad offensive lines before. Okay. They're just not good at stopping the run. I don't understand that, by the way. I don't know how great defensive players are good at one part of defense, but not good at the other when they play on the front seven. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I can rush the quarterback better than anybody, but if he hands the ball to the person standing behind him, I can't ever tackle that guy. I don't know how that works. All right. I played football up until my 10th grade year. Okay. I wasn't very good, but I consistently, if I got to the backfield, I could tackle either one of those guys. Yeah. It didn't matter if it was the quarterback or the running back. I could get them both.
Ryan asked, Casey jumps in. He's got Providence money line, Gonzaga -8.5, and Baylor -4.5. The really, hey, props to you, man. I ain't touching any of those at all. Like, I'm definitely not betting against Gonzaga, but my numbers had that West Virginia Gonzaga line at like 4. So, but either way, what do you guys think the trade value of Carson Wentz and Mitchell Trubisky would be? Maybe a 4th-round pick? No, there is
zero.
no trade value.
There is no trade value. We're gonna do this every week until you guys stop. And you just got to get it through your head. For Wentz, nobody wants Wentz with that contract,
and nobody wants Trubisky.
That. And nobody wants Trubisky at all.
Like
if he was cut tomorrow, if he was released tomorrow, he would have a hard time having a team pick him up. Somebody would pick him up, but they're not giving up an asset for him.
No, absolutely not. There is no trade value. No. So Casey said, I know you think I'm crazy, but I think the Eagles win this game. Wentz has the Packers number. Different teams, different times, different everything.
I do think that's crazy.
Yeah. Pats -1 at the Chargers. Chargers not great. They seem to always lose really close ball games, so that 1 point there it kind of makes a difference. AK Storm jumped in. He said 2 biscuits and a pack of noodles, no value.
I'm not giving 2 biscuits away.
No, I'd eat them biscuits before I trade.
Hell yeah, I'm eating them biscuits before I take on either one of those bastards.
My God. So I'm rolling Pats here. I think the Pats find a way to get it done. Justin Herbert has looked great all year, but he is still
He won't look great this week.
That's what I'm saying.
Bill Belichick against a rookie quarterback doesn't usually go well. Bill Belichick against Anthony Lynn doesn't usually go well. That's my logic. I know the Patriots are playing the exact same game plan that the Ravens have been playing all year. We're trying to win football games without a quarterback right now. Look, it happens. Justin Herbert's going to have a rough go of it come Sunday.
Yes, he is. Let's see. I've got 3 soups on the Eagles, and Ryan said DK Metcalf is the best wide receiver now. Yes, he is.
Yes,
that's
I think
right.
that's definitive. It's him and Hopkins. Yes. I would take him over Hopkins. He's way younger and just a freak of an athlete. Hopkins has hands. DK's dropped 4 or 5 big balls lately, and Hopkins drops nothing. But Hopkins isn't close to the athlete DK is anymore.
Yeah. The Brown Yeti, by the way, jumps in. If you are good and balanced on both pass rushing and run stopping, you are Jadeveon Clowney, and supposedly not worth the money.
Well, not worth. You might not be worth the money because he wants a lot of money, but you're still really good, and you make your defense better. I guess. I think you do.
Yeah, I think so. K Storm said, "I'll trade Carson Wentz for a PS5." Yeah, I mean,
nobody's
if you
giving
had
you a PS5 for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, nobody would do that.
PS5.
Sunday Night Football: Broncos at the Chiefs. Chiefs are a 13.5-point favorite, and the reason, of course, we're talking about this is it is the Sunday night game. Going to be a lot of eyeballs on it. Everybody likes to talk about Patrick Mahomes. This seems boring. The Broncos quarterbacks, all 4 of them were fined for breaking protocol, all that kind of mess. I think the Chiefs can do whatever they want here.
You know what's funny? I thought about this when I heard the list of the quarterbacks. Locke was a 3rd-round guy or a 2nd-round guy?
2nd round. Like a pick 44, 45, something like that. Or 42.
All their other quarterbacks are old veterans that just aren't good. They have to be spending less on their quarterback room than any team, any locker room in the country, right?
Yes.
I would bet the total amount of money that they're spending on their quarterback room. Like if we're talking about dollars and cents wise, that's the position you kind of want to lose everybody in because it costs you nothing.
Oh, 100%. Like that's the biggest thing. Casey said Chiefs covered. Did the Broncos even have a quarterback this week? Yeah. Because none of those guys tested positive.
Everybody's fine. Everybody's cleared to play. Everybody's fine.
I still don't think it
They're
matters.
just not any good. They're just not any good. Drew Lock's not good at football.
Yeah, I'll take the Chiefs here. It's a division game. Chiefs always look for some reason to be excited about games, and they'll find one with this being a division game. So we'll both take the Chiefs here. Monday Night Football, we got two games. We got Washington at the Steelers. Steelers 8.5-point favorites. I'll go ahead and wrap up Washington.
That line's not right. That line's not right.
What, did it change already?
No, it hasn't changed at all. It opened at 10.5. Hang on.
No, opened at 12.5. And
12.5.
Heritage, Bet Online.
Nope,
So Bet Online got 9.
One line, but keep going because those are bad numbers. I'm telling you, it's 10.5 or 11 everywhere.
So basically,
you can't actually go to a website and find it at that number.
So we may just have to talk about the Monday night games on Monday, like the Monday and Tuesday.
I mean, I'm telling you right now. I'm looking at Bet Online right now has this line at 10.5.
Strange.
That's what the line is. What they're saying on that website is not accurate. That's what I'm telling you.
Interesting. All right, so should we say 10.5?
Line's 10.5. The line's 10.5. Just talk about the game. The line's 10.5.
10.5. I will.
You can't say it's 8.5. You damn sure can't do that.
I got you. I mean, I was looking at. So I've got Heritage at 8.5. Bet Online 9. WagerWeb 8.5. So
I'm telling you, those numbers are wrong.
I figure because most people don't even have the damn line up because the Steelers are still playing.
Because the Steelers are still playing right now.
But if it's 10.5, like I am damn sure taking Washington. Like the Steelers play down to the level of competition all the time. And they will certainly do it again here against a pretty good defense. This is going to be low scoring. This will be, what is it, a look-ahead spot for the Steelers? Like, don't they play somebody after? Maybe I'm crazy. I
have no idea what their schedule looks like. I know.
Oh,
they
play the Bills next Sunday, like the Sunday after.
I'm going to tell you I like Washington, and I almost don't care what the number is as long as it's over a touchdown. We have seen teams lately, this Ravens team especially, when you know they can do nothing but run the football, run it right down the Steelers' throats.
Yeah.
Like there's ways to run on them. Some teams just can't do it at all. If Washington is smart and they've watched this game film and they see what the Ravens are doing, they'll be Anthony Gibson's going to run all over them.
Yep.
If they can run on them, they can get yards. They can control the line of scrimmage. They can slow the game down. They can eat clock. Tick, 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 tick.
The defense can get them points.
Yep. I'm telling you, I think Washington is a sneaky spot for them. Anything over a touchdown, I like the football team.
I am the same way. By the way, we've got guys talking about Trevor Lawrence. Ryan said Trevor Lawrence going to hold off going to the NFL if the Jets win the first pick. And then Casey said, I think Trevor might refuse to go to the Jets and pull in Eli Manning, not if Dabo is his coach. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, please make that happen. For the love of everything that I know to be good and holy in this world. Just come on.
Just throwing that out there into the ether. Not saying that it's going to happen, but...
What do you think Dabo would be like in New York?
I think he would be laughed out of that locker room. But
no. In the city. In the
city? Oh, God, it'd be horrible. Oh, my God. If he thinks he gets too much media coverage and all that crap now.
You're talking about country-ass bumpkin going up to the big city and has to live there. Not spend a weekend there at a Heisman, dinner where it's all just college football guys around you.
Well, he could live across the river, and there's some bumpkin stuff going on over in New Jersey. We all know that, right?
Oh, I think there's some. Okay, it's not New York City stuff, but it's some other stuff going on over there. It ain't bumpkin though.
Ryan said, "Where are you guys from?" Hey, we are just outside of Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, we're in the Memphis, Tennessee area.
We're
just across state line in Mississippi.
Don't let us fool you. We are bumpkins.
Oh, yeah. No, I have listen, I would not fare well. I would be fine because I don't give a shit what people think of me. Dabo 100% cares what people think of him.
Oh, yes.
Because he cries about it all the time.
Yep, you are correct. Casey said Dabo ain't leaving Clemson.
I think that's true, by the way.
I do think that is mostly true, but I have seen dumber stuff. Ryan said, how's the snow like in Tennessee? There's not enough of it.
Well, not where we live. In
Not where-
Gatlinburg, they got a bunch. Pigeon Forge, the Smokies got a lot, which I like.
We're down in the tri-state area.
We're in Memphis. We don't get a lot of snow.
We're 30 minutes from Arkansas, 30 minutes from Tennessee, 30 minutes from Mississippi. Like, just it's all a quick drive. It's all right there. So is what it is. We got two more games. Bills -2.5 at the 49ers. This one's in Glendale, Arizona, at the Cardinal Stadium. So I told you that I thought that I might roll with the 49ers this week.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to.
Okay.
I don't like they showed up against the Rams last week, and I thought, all right, they're getting right, they're getting together, all that kind of stuff. I don't think that they are going to be able to stop this Bills offense. And I think that the 49ers make it hard on themselves to be able to score points with, what they've got. And I understand, Mostert, he's back, all that stuff, whatever, but it's still Nick Mullins. I think there's not a lot of quarterbacks I would say this about. I do think that I really like Josh Allen a lot more in this spot than I do Nick Mullen. I think I'm gonna ride with Buffalo, man. I can get him at 2. I can get him 1.5 at BetOnline right now.
Yeah.
I'll take the Bills here. I don't know. It seems like there's too much upheaval going on with the 49ers right now, having to relocate completely. Kyle Shanahan just looked like a completely defeated man when he had to do his little press conference about that yesterday. Like, they're having to completely up and move the entire organization this week, and they still got to play a game. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Brown Yeti said he's got the Bills,
that's a legit thing, by the way. But I trust in Kyle, and they're starting to get all these other guys back, and I think this is a different 49ers team that was before the season started. They're a tough team.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, they were a tough team when they lost everybody. They were still a tough out. They still fight everybody hard. They don't ever quit. And I just trust Kyle Shanahan. I like Sean McDermott a lot. Okay. This is not a knock on him, but there's no coach right now in the NFL that I would take if we were drafting coaches right now for the rest of, to start a career. I would take Kyle.
I mean, that makes sense. We got a lot of guys.
I think he can win now, and I think he can win in 10, 20 years.
We got a lot of guys in here. Thank me for my service. The best team in the NFL is the Niners IR. It's
a pretty
funny.
Good football team.
Yes,
it was a damn good football team for a while.
Your last crap said 49ers outright. Casey said, I think the 49ers pull it out. Ryan Johnson said Richard Sherman and Mostert equals 49ers win. Akbar said they're getting Ayuk back. He's active now. And then the Yeti jumps in and says, I got the Bills. So a lot of love. Birdie, of course, jumping in with Robert Saleh being the true coach of the year in the NFL. A lot of people having some 49ers love. I'm glad I got one guy on my Bills side over here. But I do
think Kyle Shanahan needs to be getting some coach of the year love.
I have seen fishy lines with the 49ers this year already, and I have bet them, and I have gotten my ass handed to me. I am rolling the other way. Connor Owens jumps in. Who are y'all's favorites as of now for the Vanderbilt job? I like Will Healy. I don't know if he's going to get it. I don't know what they're planning on doing. There seems to be some player revolt stuff going on. Message boards.
Do they not have an athletic director? Are they running with an athletic board?
Yes, there's like a leader of their athletic department, but she's not. So it's a black woman named God, I cannot remember her name right now off the top of my head. But
she's just the head of the board. She's not the AD, right?
She is the acting AD.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought they were running a board, and I thought she was the head of the board.
No. She is. She's the head of the athletic
So
department.
she's actually an acting AD.
Yes.
That's fine. I didn't know that. I was under. I just thought they were running it with some weird ass board. I was like, God, come on, Vanderbilt.
Connor said Clark Lee is the target. Even James Franklin has been listed. Yeah, on Monday's show, we went through that whole list from the Tennessee, and I don't know that Clark Lee is – I don't think he's going to take that job. I think he can do better, which is crazy to say that about an SEC team, I know. But, there's – James Franklin is not coming back to Vanderbilt. That's not happening.
No.
Clark Lee is – I think that's wishful thinking. Obviously, he's got ties to Vanderbilt. There's all kinds of ties. He's buddies with Tim Corbin, all this kind of stuff. But I think they're looking more in the Jamie Chadwell, Will Healy kind of spot, and I think that makes sense. I mean, there's no shortage of people that want the job. Barry Odom at Missouri wants another chance. Like, you just got to figure out exactly what you want. Do you want somebody to build a culture? Do you want somebody that can develop players? Do you want to try and recruit to Nashville? Because you're always going to be on the back burner of all these other SEC programs. You're not even going to be the top guy in your own city. So, right now you do not have the same situation that James Franklin had, which was a down Georgia, a down Florida, a down Tennessee, like all this stuff that all just kind of worked perfectly for him. You don't have that right now. So you're going to have to get a guy, like there's been some people talk about Jeff Monken coming in and running triple option and whatever. Like maybe that's a good option, but I don't know. As far as Vandy goes, like my favorite for it would be Will Healy because he knows the area and he is a culture builder, and that's, I think, what they need. But I don't know, because they got problems in that locker room right now. They got issues. Ryan Johnson wants to know how long we've known each other. How old were we, 6?
Second grade, wherever second grade people are.
That'd be about 7.
I couldn't tell you how old I was.
About 7 years old. So, yeah, we used to watch WWE stuff. I actually sent you a podcast today that I want you to listen to about wrestling. So, old school WWE stuff. Back when it was WWF, and it was better. When do you think a hire will be announced, before or after signing day? I am shocked that we have a Vanderbilt football fan in here. I'll just go ahead and admit that. So I would imagine that they will have somebody hired before signing day. They will get somebody in the next few weeks, couple of weeks, whatever it is. But I don't think it would have to do with the recruiting. I don't think that you fire Derek Mason early unless you want to go ahead and get your guy.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Birdie said, I was away for a bit for dinner in case I missed it, and you were wondering, Eagles are my pick of the week, spread and money line. Hey, Birdie, if you're right, we will definitely give you a shout-out because, man, I could not bet my money on the Eagles.
All right, you want to make picks?
Oh, yeah, I forgot we've got to do that. Yeah, let's do that. I was getting ready to wrap up the show. Yes. Hey,
I can tell.
How about go ahead and give me your 5 picks right quick, and then I'll end with my 5 picks, and we'll get out of here.
All right, Colts -3 at the Texans. Without Will Fuller, I think this offense is going to have very big problems scoring. Somebody in the comments, I don't remember who it was, you can out yourself in a minute, talked about how it's tough trusting Phillip Rivers. Yes, that's not something I enjoy doing, but this is not a quarterback battle. This is a one team is far superior battle, and the head coach on the other side is far superior. Give me the Colts -3. Seahawks -10 at home against the Giants. I think this Giants team is not very good. I think the Seahawks team is actually much, much improved compared to the team that started the season.
On defense, you mean?
On defense. And offensively, they're the same as they've always been. They're going to put up points. They're going to drop the ball off to DK. They're going to drop the ball off to Lockett. They're going to let him go make plays. And last week, Chris Carson came back, and Chris Carson was running like a mother. And it was exciting to see. And I like the Seahawks. Give me the football team. You can find this number all over the place right now. I did look. You actually can find it at 8.5 somewhere. That's insane. That's ridiculous. I found it at 10.5. I'm going to take it at 10.5 against this Steelers team that I still have no idea how they're undefeated. Just the horseshoe firmly supplanted in their rectum. At some point in time, that's going to drop out. And I like the football team at 10.5. I like betting teams that are coming off just huge, embarrassing losses the next week that I think are pretty good.
Okay.
I get to take the Raiders coming off of just an ass whipping, and they get to play the Jets. Now, I got to lay 7.5. I got to lay more than the touchdown, but this is kind of the least. The Jets have been like a dog for a while.
Yes.
So it's not double digits. And give me the Raiders. Give me the Vegas Raiders to beat them by more than a touchdown. And then my last pick, I'm taking my Brownies +6. I think this Titans team can't stop the run. Every team that has fought hard against them and where they lost early, where they got upset early by teams far worse than them, were when they could run the football on them. And I absolutely think the Browns can run the football on them. And I think they will run the football on them. Now, will they be able to stop the the Titans' run game? Probably not. Will they be able to slow down Brown? Probably not. So I think this is going to be a little higher scoring, and the only reason it might be low scoring is if they just both these teams matriculate the ball down the field and not have big plays.
Not a lot of possessions.
Those are my picks.
My 5, Raiders minus 7.5 at the Jets. Same reasons you just gave. And the Jets just suck. I mean, my God, the Jets are awful. I've got the Colts minus 3. Same reasons that you just talked about. Lions plus 3 at the Bears. I know that we're pulling for Chicago, all that good stuff, but this is another one of those situations. We've seen it twice this year already. The Lions were so glad to have Patricia gone. I think that they show up this week. So I am taking the Lions on the road. Saints minus 2.5 at the Falcons. So many people on the Falcons this week. Just ridiculous. Like, the Saints are the better football team. Just go with the better football team, especially under a field goal. I mean, give me a friggin' break here. And finally, the Bengals plus 11.5 at the Dolphins. I know this Dolphins team has got a fantastic defense. I get that. But I think the Bengals are going to be able to put up at least a little bit of a fight. And 11.5 points just feels like way too much for this Dolphins team that can't seem to find the end zone right now. So give me the Bengals here. And yeah, that is going to wrap it up. Anything else we need to discuss today?
Nope, that's it.
That is it. Boy, we had a nice long discussion about the Big Ten. If you missed that earlier, go back, download the podcast. Man, we are so tired of this college football playoff system. So it is what it is. So with that said, let's get out of here. You guys in the chat, you're all fantastic. You're always fantastic. We certainly appreciate all of you. Keep sharing the show out. We had a record number of podcast downloads last month, and we certainly appreciate that. We've had a couple of people call us about doing features about the podcast and whatnot because of our record growth last month, and that's kind of cool. So we certainly appreciate you guys. Casey said, later players, good luck with the NCAA basketball. Hey, I appreciate that for sure. Doing well so far, 8-1 on the year already. So with that said, let's go on and hop out of here. Go to winningcureseverything.com. Go to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. And yeah, let's make sure that you take care of yourself, that you take care of each other. That's the most important thing. And let's cash some tickets. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to